10 is deeply symbolic in the Genesis scroll. There are lots of 10s. God, Elohim, speaks 10 words with his voice, with ease, a kingly decree. He speaks the whole beautiful, created, abundant, prolific world into being in the Genesis 1 creation narrative. There are 10 literary units or accounts in Genesis, and they point to the 10 words or commandments that God gives the nation of Israel through Moses later on in Exodus. And according to Tim Mackey and the Bible Project, this 10 is put into the Abraham narratives as well. Abraham encounters 10 trees, if you like, of testing, and he passes on the 10th. And today we're going to look at that first test, if you like, and we're going to glean wisdom of what it looks like to follow God, but what it also looks like to fall for that tree of testing. We come to the end of Genesis 1 to 11 with humans seeking to build a name for themselves, to get to God's, to get to wisdom in their own understanding, in direct contrast to the Genesis 1 and 2 narratives, to the Eden ideal of partnership and intimacy with God. And we all know where that goes. And so in a beautiful literary structure, which I'm grateful for the NIV Study Bible for showing me, a delicate hourglass structure, we see God disperses the nations in that narrative, Tower of Babel, and the peoples are scattered across the nations. And then we see Genesis 12, it's much more personal, it's local. It is a new Adam and Eve called out of the post-Babel nations to a new Eden, a new promised land called Canaan, to inaugurate a new creation. There's such messianic hope in this passage. And at the same time, there's a failure. And it's in a very little phrase, you can almost miss it. And Lot went with him. When God called Abraham and Sarah, he called them to leave behind everyone. But for whatever reason, and we don't know the motives, Abraham takes his nephew Lot. And it's through Lot that so much distress and disorder happens in paradise. We can learn from that. That's wisdom literature for us today, that as God calls us out of our old way of life, of a human way of life in disconnection from God, into inaugurating new creation in every way we find it or are called to do it. Will we leave everything behind, our own understanding of how it looks like and what will work? Or will we take things with us in the vain hope that we're not quite sure God will come through for us, so we need to have a plan B? It's wisdom today. And it's wisdom in a beautiful narrative form, totally merciful and gracious, but also thoroughly exposing and invitational. The life of faith, the life of new creation, the recovery of Eden is on offer for us today. And it looks like, in this Abraham narrative, that we have to say yes wholeheartedly to trusting God.